Welcome back to my craft room and channel. Okay, if you're new here, welcome. I hope you like this video. This video is going to be on the go box. And the reason why I came up with this video was 2020 had me go. If I wasn't at the hospital or a doctor's appointment or helping family in town, or I was just in the vehicle like hours and hours and hours. And because of that, my crafting started suffering. And when my crafting started suffering and my making started suffering, then my spirit got really down. But I didn't really do anything in 2020 about it until about Christmas time. And then it was like, I'm going to make Christmas for my family and for my friends and stuff. And so I started doing some things in the car while I was moving. And while I was waiting for people to get out of the doctors, and while I was spending all this time in the car, I started doing projects so I could actually get them mailed out in time. Well, we thought that was done right after Christmas, but then right before the new year, my son went back in the hospital. Now, you have to understand, for those that don't know, this is just a repeat of information, but for those that don't know or are new to my channel, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live off-grid. The closest thing to me, my nearest neighbor is 7 miles. But if I want to pick up go to the post office, I got to drive 32 miles. If I want to go get gas, there's a truck stop, a post office, an elementary school, and a church 32 miles from my house. So I can get gas and things like that. But if you want propane or food, or to go to a smaller hospital, it's either 54 in one direction or 64 for a little bit bigger in another direction. Like Walmart and everything is 64 miles from me. If you need to go down and have testing or go to like specialists or anything like my son is having to go to, it's 3 hours at 85 miles an hour down and 3 hours, 85 miles an hour back, plus the time in the doctor's office and everything else. So that makes for about an 8 to 10 hour day whenever we have to go to Reno. That's a lot of time in the car. And when you're doing it 10 plus times in a month, it's really a lot of time in the car. So I was like, okay, well, let's make an on-the-go box. Well, at Christmas time, I was just taking what I needed for the projects to finish the projects. But when I started thinking about an on-the-go box, I was like, well, how big can it be? So initially, I thought of my little pencil boxes. It holds quite a bit of stuff in there. Okay, pencil box is good, but then your work area is that big because I use the lid of the box to work on. So that only gives me not even 12 inches of room. So then I thought, well, I could take one of these. And they hold a lot of stuff. And then if I set it on my lap, my work area is a good 14 by 14 maybe, 13 by 13, but it's still a significant amount of work area to be able to work on and do. So that was not a problem. I now knew what I needed container-wise, and it could sit right beside me in the car. It doesn't take up too much room. It's quick. I can grab it and walk out the door with it. So no problem, right? No big deal. Perfect. So now we have to decide, we only have that much space, and we have to take everything we need to make with. What do we need? Well, of course we need our scissors. We can't take our trimmer. It's too big. It won't fit in the box. It's too big. It'll get messed up if I try to take it without it being in a case. So we'll take our fussy cutting scissors, because I can fussy cut. And so these are good size, and they're small enough that they can go into our little box. Take an old dollar store hole punch. It should be able to fit into our box at a reasonable, it fits in our box reasonably small. Let's see, we're going to need some adhesive. So I got the small bottle from the dollar store, and it can go into my box. Awesome. Going to need some foam tape, another form of adhesive. Definitely, I use foam tape quite often, so going to need that. I like some inks, black for your basic stamping. I don't do a lot of stamping, but I picked out one of my favorite stamps to go with the black ink. I picked out a couple of my inks that I like to do around the edges, so they can go into my box. Oh, let's see. I gotta move the box over to this side so I can reach all of the stuff. You're gonna need some sentiment stickers, because we use sentiments on a lot of things, right? Let's see. We'll probably need a couple little bottles, little tiny bottles of glitter. We're going to probably need some of that, because, you know, you want to add a little bit of glitter or a little bit of sparkle to something. Let's see, what else would we need? Of course, we're going to need paper, but we'll get to that very shortly here. We'll get to that. So then, I thought, well, we need paper, we need bling, we need flowers, we need lace and trims, all that kind of stuff. So I went through my scrap pile, because I don't want to take a bunch of 12 by 12 papers, because I can't take my trimmer. And I picked out papers that would work as card fronts, work as tags, work as embellishment pieces, that kind of stuff. So I picked out a bunch of my scraps, a bunch of different scraps, you know, that are about that size, some more sentiments that match this color. A bunch of different cut aparts, and papers and things that I could use paper-wise. And that all, I put them all in their own particular color, right? And then I put them in a little baggie. We put them in a little baggie so that they're contained. They're all contained. Then we were going to want some bling. So I have a little bit of bling that matches it. Some silver bling that matches it. And some more blue. And that, yeah, well, that should be good for bling. We don't, like we're saying, we're just making smaller projects. We don't know what we're making. So we're just going based on, we're doing this on what do we use on most of our projects. Well, I use a lot of ribbons and lace and trim, so I took a little bit of ribbons and lace and trim, and I started rolling it up in little bundles Sometimes I would wrap it around a piece of cardstock, but basically that's going into my little baggie because it's going to match all of the papers and that colors and everything. Then of course we're going to need a few little stickers, so we're going to throw some stickers in there. And I have these little bracelets, and they're flexible and there's room for them, so we'll throw them in there with our papers and stuff. We're only got a little I think it's 4.5 by 6 bag. We're going to throw in some butterflies and some flowers because we use those on everything. And we have our little blue package pretty well done. So we're going to bring our box over and put our little blue package in there. Alright? Let's see. We're going to go with gold. Golds and grays are my neutral colors. So let's grab some cut-aparts and some scrap papers that are gold. I don't have these in a little baggie because I couldn't find one. So we're going to lay them down in the bottom here of our 12 by 12. We'll pre-cut some die cuts and some things like that like we always use flowers. So we'll pre-die cut some flowers and cut aparts that match that color. Some bling, some silver bling, some more die cuts. Let's see. Okay, so we got that in there for the gold. So we have the gold ones in there. We have the blue ones in there. And yes, they can intermatch, but it's best if you stay with that particular color setting. Then you might want some crepe paper because you're going to want some crepe paper. But I suggest that you take the endings of your crepe paper rolls and put that in it. So if you want a rosette or something, you can throw a rosette real quick. Then I took a pencil box and I did all my pink inside of a pink pencil box because I have a lot of pink stuff and it's Valentine's Day. So I have all my paper, all my bling, all my little cut aparts and beginning card bases and beginning tags for my pink in there. That's going to go right in the middle of my 12 by 12. No, it's going to go to the side of my 12 by 12. That's why the pink crepe paper is in there, because it doesn't go in the box. Then blue's going on top of gold. And then you guys asked for a tutorial of this, but this is my rolled roses that you guys had seen once before, my box of rolled roses. And I just have my scraps, my basic tools for that, my die plates, and my scraps of paper. Because the one thing that will not fit in my 12 by 12 that I do take with me is my little craft buddy. He's a little die cutting machine. He's a little craft buddy. And I can do this thing like this. I can run my dies through holding it midair. He is so light. He's so light. But he's still got the thingies that's sticking to the table. He'll stick to the top of my box. So I have two dies, my twirling tool, and my scraps in here. So I'm putting that in here in my 12 by 12 box. I'm going to put some book pages in my 12 by 12 box because I use them for my bases and to thicken up things. So I'm going to put that in my 12 by 12 box. I have red, white, and black colored bag. Let's see if we can't put that in our box. So now we have blue, gold, pink, red, black, and white. Okay. What else should or would we absolutely need? What I like to do, and I can't do it while the vehicle's moving, but I spend a good hour most of the time, an hour to 2 hours, sitting outside of doctor's office or hospitals as my son's going through testing and stuff, and we can't go in with him. So I've already made them up. They've already been wire wrapped, but they've not been attached to their chain. So they have the wired wrapped beads in blue and purple. I've already used up all my pink. Threw some jump rings in there, and then I have a little box with my head pins if I need to refix one, and some chain, so I could work on those, but then I'm going to need these. Can we get this much more into our 12 by 12 box? Let's find out here. I'm going to show you just a minute here. Will you close? Here's our on-the-go box. I need this and this, and I can walk out of my house ready to craft in my car. That's what an on-to-go box is. It's all your basics. No scoreboard, it's too big. No trimmer, it's too big. I could put a ruler in here if I needed to, but most of the things that I need, I'm not going to need a ruler for. So I don't really truthfully need a ruler. I don't need my big punches because I can punch things out ahead of time and have them ready to go in my on-to-go box. My little plates are inside with my rolled roses. All my scrap papers are in there. If I wanted to grab a couple more dies, I could. I still have plenty of room in here. If you look right here in the front of the box, I have room that I could put probably 6 to 10 more dies, lay them on top of this box if I wanted to take more dies, but I haven't taken a great deal of paper. But from what's in here, I can probably make 25 to 30 different projects. And then you refill this. I try to refill this once a week so that it's always got things. If you notice, none of my purple stuff's in here. It's Valentine's. I'm working with pinks and reds and blacks and whites, a little bit of teals and blues, and a lot of gold. It's Valentine's Day, so this is my to-go box right now. And I'm just keeping it here because he's actually gotten down to 1 trip a week right now because he's doing much, much better. He's had his stitches removed. He's doing much better. But to know that if something else were to happen and I had to leave in a heartbeat, I could just boom, boom, I'm ready. Get my jacket, get my wallet, get my tablet, and I'm gone. I'm out the door. So even though this was a little bit longer, this is what an on-to-go box would look like to have it kept in your craft room. It's really simple, it's really easy, and I don't find myself having to go into it a great deal. I have more glue, I have more scissors. If I want to do jewelry, I have to go in and get my jewelry tools out, but they're right there on top. If I want to use my little craft buddy, I have to go in and pull my rolled rose box out, which is not a big deal. I usually leave it sitting right next to it because I do that in my chair as well. And our next video, well, not for you because I'm pre-recording these, but the next video I will film will be the Road to Rose tutorial for you guys. Until next time, remember you're loved, and I hope that this helped you, that if you have a lot of doctor's appointments or a lot of time that you're spending away from home, you can still craft, you can still make, and you can still keep your spirits and your being filled by being able to do some crafting at the same time. Bye for now.